Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Strand Tennis Center podcast, filled with tips, advice, tennis, not tennis, just life advice too, whatever you need. Like it on YouTube, share it on the podcast as well. Thank you. This is... You don't have to come on. You want to come on. Santi's on. So this will be a podcast in regards to tennis about managing stress. But we can talk, we just started talking about it off camera. We'll start... managing stress. You were asking me, do I sleep well at night?
Yeah, so I want to know if you sleep well at night, or do you have stuff running through your mind, throughout the day, and then before you sleep, do you still stress out about it, or do you just...
That's kind of, again, like I was saying, that's kind of a funny thing. I do not wake up at night at all. And I go right to sleep at night. It's really nice. I go out like a light. I can shut it and put it to bed. The only time I ever had trouble sleeping is when something... is unresolved. It's unresolved in the sense of I don't think I can handle it. So in other words, everything is unresolved.
Right.
With work. All the time it's unresolved, blah, 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 but there's something that I have to do, a task that it's brand new to me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think I can do this. Okay. That'll keep me up, but it's so rare because I stay in my lane. I think the key, and this is kind of more of a tennis podcast, but I think the key to being successful as anything is staying in your lane and what you're good at. Too many people go outside their lane. Like, I'll only talk about a couple of things because I know them, right? I won't. It would be like me trying to go, all right, I'm going to be a volleyball coach tomorrow. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Right.
Sometimes inside the business, like when we did the USTA thing, I was a little bit, one night I was like, well, hopefully we can handle this. That was it.
Yeah.
But I fell asleep. It was fine.
Yeah.
Things like that. Something brand new. Something that I'm like, wait a minute, am I going to be able to handle this? But that's so rare because we don't usually inside the tennis window, everything is handleable. Yeah. Everything is doable. Handleable's not even a word, but I'll take it. Everything is doable. You were saying in the restaurant what?
Yeah. So when I used to have a restaurant, and, the daytime would be fine, and then nighttime, especially on the weekends, you're in the weeds. Everyone's in the weeds all the time. Everyone's stressing out, freaking out. And then at the end of the service, when everyone, you start cleaning up, going home, there's stuff you think about, like what happened, what you can improve on, and, what you can do better the next day. But then I was saying, like, before I had the restaurant, I used to work in the liquor industry, and I used to stress out all the time at night. I would just think about all the things I'd had to do for the next day or for the following days and, like, what accounts I had to go to. But when I had the restaurant, and I wouldn't, like, stress out at night. I would sleep perfectly fine. I knew that I was in charge, and I was, like, capable to handle it the next day, and they're not super major fires to put out. There's always complaints. There's always, like, food came out wrong, something's too spicy, stuff like that. People got the wrong takeout order. There was one time, I remember I gave somebody the wrong takeout bag. So somebody went home with somebody else's food, and then the other person came in and was like, I didn't get this. I didn't get my food, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, shit, what do I do? I was like, the best thing I could do is just refund your money, whatever, and, like, I'll give you food now. But, everything's just little fires, and in my mind, it's just, like, people are people, and, like, things will happen, and, like, you can't go too crazy over everything.
So,
you know what I mean?
Do you think that phone's ringing? Let's say we got to stay focused. Do you think that the reason why there was more stress in the liquor business was, again, I guess, it looks like what you're saying is you had control in the restaurant a little bit more, and you could kind of die on your own sword. I make this decision. If I screw it up, it's on me. The liquor business is like, well, I got a boss. I have to deal with this stuff.
I had deadlines to meet.
Correct.
I would get emails all the time.
Yeah.
You open your iPad in the morning, there'd be like 4, 5, 6 emails about stuff that needs to get done or whatever.
So I don't want to interrupt. So my question to you is, as me being technically your boss, why is it less stressful, or are you just as stressed?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not stressed at all.
That's what I'm saying. So what's the difference?
Slightly stressed. No, because I feel like if you enjoy something and you know that you're decently good at something, then you don't have to worry about anything too much.
No, I get it, but I was hoping that you said you had a great boss and it was awesome.
I also feel like you trust me enough to do a lot of stuff.
Sure.
And I'll get it done. or whatever it is, and they're not like major crazy tasks, right? But like, you know, you give me like, you let me do things, and like, you know that I can do certain things, and I feel comfortable doing them, and like I'll get the task done or whatever.
So you're not being micromanaged.
Yeah, and that too. Like you're not like over my shoulder about like like that's like, you know, that's fine.
And I think that's what we talked about earlier about the business growing up. You got to let people do their thing. You got to let them exercise. And I was talking about this with Chris. Let them exercise.
Hello.
No, we're doing a
sweatpants.
podcast right now, Bambi. We're on the microphone right now. That's okay though. I don't know where they are, Bambi.
If they're here, they would be under the.
There's a front desk in the front, Bambi. In the front. You can talk because I'm talking to you. That's okay.
It's okay.
And this happens all the time. No one seems to see the mic.
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
We're talking. That's the best. Lost and found. This is great. We should do a podcast on who interrupts. No, I'm a great boss. No, what we were saying was, oh my gosh, it's true. What we were saying is.
Yeah, so I like used to have a lot of anxiety sleep. I used to wake up in like sweats, like night sweats, and like you know, like you can't sleep. You're thinking about stuff. You wake up at like, let's say 6 o'clock, but you can get up at 7. But then for that hour, you're just laying there stressing out.
I get it.
Punching your pillow.
And I've never had that. It's weird.
Yeah.
That's a strange thing.
I feel like a lot of people that are in corporate world, business world, do that stuff. You know, they have like deadlines to meet, stuff like that. A lot of people like, it definitely happens to a lot of people, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, what we were saying, though, is when I was saying is judgment, letting you do your own thing.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, and I always say, and I was telling Chris, who's the manager here, you hire somebody, and you don't tell them what to do. You tell them what the task is, and you see what their judgment is.
Yeah.
And if they exercise poor judgment, then you talk to them afterwards and say, listen, I don't think this is the right job for you. You don't micromanage the task. You say, oh, this is the task.
You got to see what they can do first.
Correct.
Right? You can't just like show them how to do everything.
Everybody hates to be micromanaged.
Yeah, and if like they can show you that they can do something, then, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
Or if it's bad, then, you know, then you correct them and give them another shot if you want. If not, then, you know.
So you can equate all this business, but this is we were talking about stress tennis wise. You can equate this all to tennis. You don't want to micromanage your student either. Yeah. You want to tell them specific goals. Unless they have a major structural problem, you want to see how they try to get there and how they try to accomplish a certain goal. Say, I want you to do. I want you to play a certain way. I want you to 2 forehands cross court, 2 down the line, and see how they're taking to that and see what they're doing because they have to problem solve themselves, and you can't like try to micromanage or handhold that situation. They're going to have to deal with stress too. Dealing with stress on the court is the same thing like dealing with stress in business. You have to be able to go, okay, things are going to happen that I don't know during this match, and I just have to be able to say, okay, I have to roll with it, and I have to keep moving forward, and I can't dwell on things that might happen that may not go my way. And that's, I mean, everything can be mirrored. Tennis, business, it's all the same. You have to understand that things are going to happen that you cannot control. And managing stress is part of it. Like, if you let yourself hyperventilate out there and get stressed, you're going to give away 4 to 5 games. So, I mean, managing stress on the court, breathing techniques are huge. Take a deep breath in, hold it for 3 or 4 seconds, and release it. That'll help you. Controlling your breath. Don't think calm down. Think of controlling your breath. So take a deep breath in, hold it for 3 or 4 beats, release it for 3 or 4 beats. It'll get you to calm your heart rate, and that's a big, big key. But most of tennis players usually have a good game on the practice court. It's when you get into a stressful situation that changes everything. It's really context. That's all of it. And that's where you need to put themselves in those situations more. You have to put the player in a situation where they're going to have to test their mental capability and their stress points. So we call it lessonitis when kids used to love lessons. They would just get lessons, and they're great at taking lessons, but they're not great at playing matches. Very different thing.
Two different worlds.
2 different worlds, 2 different sides of the brain. You can be great, you can be a great musician and not a great composer, right? So that's what I consider a great tennis player, being a great hitter, but not a great player. very similar. You have to be able to be a great player and be very creative out there and be very. You got to be able to problem solve, suss out situations, figure things out, and not just be able to hit 7 forehands in a row that are structurally correct. You may have to change something and hit a slice at a certain point. You may have to go, okay. Some players you'll watch a match and they'll not even notice what the other player is doing. And instead of saying like we're watching a match and a kid is making mistakes and your student is not noticing that and trying to bang the ball through the person. Federer's a perfect example. He'll notice a simple noticing of somebody being nervous and making mistakes, and he'll just start hitting balls just in play. He won't even go for a shot. He'll let you implode.
Yeah. Yep.
And to have the awareness to do that means you're relaxed. When you're really nervous...
Yeah, I see a lot of players, even in like UTR matches and stuff, like sometimes one kid's stressing out and the other kid will just hit the ball back and wait for the other kid to mess up. Yeah. Right? Like sometimes that's all it takes. You just mess up on your own, and then you get even more stressed out because you're like, oh.
Correct. That's a huge nuance for a kid to realize that this kid's imploding, and I'm going to let him do it. That's hard to know. That's a great self-awareness thing to go. Most people are just so worried about not screwing up that they're not even realizing what's going on the other side of the court. That's a big thing. It's really hard to teach those things. It's hard to teach kind of a sense of the only best way to teach is to put them in the scenarios early. Like put them in there when they're 7, 8, 9, playing points, playing a simulated match, playing a tiebreaker, doing that just to get comfortable with having to compete and having to go, all right, I have to do this, I have to do that. Oh, how do I win this? Why I double faulted? All that stuff. You get too wrapped up in lessons. It's like, I don't know. It's like, people work out to stay healthy now, but it's the same thing. It's like training for a marathon and then, I don't know, never running over 10 miles. You have to, run the context.
You have to basically push yourself to the stressful situation so you can handle it when they come up. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah. If you're not pushing yourself to that stressful situation or if you're not dealing with those stressful situations, then the stressful situations will eat at you slowly.
Correct. You're acclimatizing to it. So back to your restaurant.
Oh.
like I'm thinking about stressful situations. That's tough. Like that. Service business is super hard. I mean, we're in one too, but that's hard. When did you you liked it?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah,
you loved it, but did you just feel like? Would you?
Would I do it again or something?
Yeah. Would you do it again? Would you like to own a restaurant?
Yeah, in a heartbeat, I would do it again.
You would.
I'll cut this part out, but the only reason why I left is because my dad and his ex-girlfriend started fighting a lot.
Why would you have to cut that out? That's life.
I want them to know.
You don't want them to know?
Because then they're going to watch and be like, oh, no. Yeah, it's okay.
You can cut it out. But, in other words, we can, after the cut part, we can say things happen in life that derail you for a while.
Yeah.
And you have to just, get right back. I mean, again, the success is not a straight line. You get derailed and you go back to it. Yeah. Right? But I don't want you to. Because I want you to run this place.
We'll keep it. We'll see.
Maybe we'll own
I'm the editor. We'll see.
Maybe we'll start a restaurant right outside.
A little bakery.
A little bakery. You can do both.
Cafe. Yeah, we'll see. Then you got to manage everything. You got to do that's a lot of work.
I don't want to give you stress. I want you to sleep at night.
No, I probably wouldn't sleep that well because got to order food and
Well, that's a tough job.
Order stuff.
That again, you're talking about me not sleeping. If you told me I was in charge of a restaurant, I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I wouldn't sleep because I wouldn't know.
Fine. The thing was, I had great employees. Like the chefs were perfectly fine. I didn't have to worry about
That's awesome.
Messing up anything. So it was just more so, when perfect orders or whatever, the food came out too spicy, you got to redo it again. And if you're redoing it, then you're taking time up from another table, what I mean? And etc. Just small stuff. But
well, that's what it's about, right?
Yeah, everything's all conjumbled.
So you got to manage stress
at
all times, no matter what. Definitely. You got to learn how to deal with it. Stress is a good thing. That gets you excited. Bad stress, not good. Yeah. So you can't let it debilitate you. That's why I exercise all the time too. You got to run, meditate, do something to deal with that as well. You need some downtime too. It can't be full tilt all the time. You got to try to.
Let me add one thing.
Yeah.
One thing is pretty funny because we're talking about stress and stuff.
Yeah.
I was at the gym yesterday and there was this guy on the floor doing some type of, I don't know, pose with like a kettlebell, and then he looked like he had a rough day. Or I couldn't tell, but it seemed like he had a rough day, right? And then I grabbed some item behind him, and then he was like, "I'm using that," and I was like, "Okay, sir. Okay, sorry, I didn't know." In my head, I was like, "How am I supposed to know?"
How are you supposed to know that?
Yeah, I was like, "You don't have to." In my head, I was like, "You don't have to talk to people like that." Like, I don't know what triggered you throughout the day that you're like a dick right now, but okay. And he was like, "They're over there," and I was like,
"Jeez."
I was like, "I know where they are. It's okay." And I didn't want to build it up or anything, but I was like, this guy. I was like, I could tell that the guy had a rough day, or like something's happening in his work career or his wife or something. I was like, that's how people are, like.
But that's a great trait that you just had, empathy.
Yeah.
You empathize. Like, you said, this guy. You could have escalated.
I was gonna blow up on him. I was like, dude, like, chill out. Like, literally, like,
but that's
nobody like. I didn't like try to steal anything from you. I just wanted to use the equipment. I didn't know you were using it. And then he was, there's no reason to talk to other people like that. Even if you had a stressful day, you can't take it out on other people. That's how you lose relationships. That's how you lose friendships and just,
Correct. No. Correct. If something was going on in my personal life and I just unleashed on everybody at work, people would be like, this girl's ridiculous. This guy's ridiculous. This girl. This guy's ridiculous. This guy's ridiculous. I know. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand, but that was a great quality you just had. You empathized with the guy, and you understood, even though you were pissed.
Punch him in the face.
I know.
Okay. But I was like,
you're a good man, Sunti.
Stay calm.
Stay calm.
Stay calm. Life's not that serious. Enjoy it. And
that's true.
It'll be over very soon.
Oh God, this is a Anthony Robbins motivational speaking. Life will be over very soon. You might as well enjoy it. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the end.
Enjoy what you do too, which is.
Well, that's huge. That goes without saying. You can't spend more than. I wouldn't spend more than a week in doing something that you wouldn't want to do. And to me, I don't know why this came up. Write something. Like I always like to write down 5 years in the future, the day. So write down the day that you want to have 5 years in the future. So what was your day look like in 5 years? And write it down. I wake up, I do this, I do that. And actually, a lot of it'll come true. Just put it out there, put that image out there and go, I want to wake up. I want to be able to wake up like Chip Wilson, the perfect example, a guy who started Lululemon, and he lives in Vancouver. I think he lives in Vancouver, and obviously a billionaire. And he said, I wanted to get up and not have to get up and get up whenever I wanted. It was one of those. That was a big goal of his. Like, I just want to be able to wake up and do anything that I want. And he does all this stuff. I think he's been doing all this cooking stuff and things like that. I'm not really sure, but get that image in your head. Like, I want to be able to wake up with no alarm clock. And I want to be able to wake up and say, all right, I can go for a jog every morning. I can go here anything. Whatever the image is, say, like, I'm this, it really will start to get into your body. You'll start to feel. It'll start to happen. That's why in tennis, I always ask the kids, write down your goal like you've achieved it. So, write down, I'm a varsity player. When you do that, it seems much more real. So, hopefully that helps. If you have any goals, dealing with stress, set goals. Realize there's going to be adversity, but that's part of it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody. Hope you like the podcast. Please share it with your friends, anybody that you know, anybody that's into tennis, anybody that's into bettering themselves. Share it.